Now then, people, what's good? It's just Joe, the Just Joe football show. I don't know what I was saying there. I hope you're all doing well. Time to talk about a new era. Bielsa is in the rear view. As much as that pains me today, I promise you there'll be no tears today. We've got to look forward, haven't we? I've tried to do that. What I have done since I sort of found out Saturday was to start to look at Jesse Marsch and find out what he's all about. I've seen a lot of people doing the same. There's a lot of content out there on him as an individual, as a coach. So I've been sampling a lot of that over the last 24, 48 hours. It helps that I've been home. I've been a bit ill, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I've been doing that. It's been tough though, because every time I've been doing that, I'd then go on social media and see another montage of the king that is Bielsa and start to go, oh no, why? But look, having had time to sit and we'll touch on a few things just about I think there's a lot of misconceptions personally that the 49ers have done this, and Radrazani and or should I say Orta's going to leave and Kania's going to leave and all this sort of stuff. I do believe 49ers have been heavily involved, but I'm not sure I quite agree with the fact that Orta and that are all going to resign and all this sort of stuff. And Orta was the one that's chased this guy and has been after him, it would seem, for quite some time. They actually looked at him as a long-term successor for Bielsa for quite some time. It just so happens that it has been brought forward due to the current form that we find ourselves in. And and if we're being honest, like we now, with hindsight, I do believe and did wish that Bielsa and look, I felt that the games that were coming up, he should have been afforded the opportunity to turn it round. But Radrazani has to protect his asset. There's a lot of money involved. And John says maybe the kids will get a chance now. They always got a chance. Bielsa gave 8 debuts, Premier League record. So if we're going to come, please come correct. But I'm trying not to speak about Bielsa on this video. It's about the new era. It's about Jesse Marsch. And truth be told, I'm excited. The fact that he's been signed on a 5-year deal is a good thing as well. Just due to the fact that it gives us a little bit of longevity. No worrying season after season if this is going to be the end. He's well thought of. He's been, just a little bit on him. He's been through the Red Bull system. Obviously spent time at New York Red Bulls, then Salzburg, and then obviously rocked up at Leipzig, the top of that, I guess, that pyramid, if you like. Didn't go too well for him there. He was a coach at the USA, I think in the World Cup 2000, under Brad Bobley. But look, he's well thought of in the game. He worked very closely to that man who's in across the Pennines, actually, Ralph Ragnarok, as I like to call him. Now that he's sort of been involved with getting Marsch to a place he is now, I'm going to have to give Ragnick a bit of respect, aren't I now, unfortunately. Zandra Paul as well says Haaland loves him. Not a bad endorsement, no, of course. That Salzburg side, I think they had Minamino as well, Patson Daka, a number of top players. So, yeah, big fan of youth. He seems very intelligent, a student of the game, for sure. And like I say, a lot of what I've seen of him over the last 24, 48 hours on YouTube, and there's loads out there. I've been very impressed with him. There was the halftime team talk, for example, against Liverpool. It was good, man. It was nice to see sort of behind the curtain. But you can see whenever he speaks, he's very much a student of the game. So yeah, I'm excited. We will go through a little bit of what's expected from him. I just want to give a shout out before we do go through that to All Stats Aren't We, specifically John. I've put the link to the All Stats Aren't We Patreon in the description to this video. Like I said, I've sampled a lot of videos over the last 24, 48 hours that are available for you on YouTube. However, the best that I've seen and that gave me the most information was close to home. It was done by the Leeds United content creators, All Stats Aren't We. You can join their Patreon. The link is in the description. So if when we've gone through this, you want to see a little bit more, see regular video content on Leeds United, then you can check that out, because that's where I've got the majority of this. I've made a lot of notes. It is up on my screen up here, so I can go through. I don't want to miss a beat for you. I did highlight a few comments as well before coming live. As I say, I like to hear what your guys' thoughts are as well. DJ Joe wearing headphones around his neck. I don't know why. I don't even need it either. I have to answer not sure to the poll, Joe. I'll have a look at that as well. But let's go through some of the comments that I already highlighted earlier on, and I've had a super chat come in as well from Lee Waters as well. So we'll get to that first of all. He says we will miss Bielsa, but Jesse is now the man in the hot seat. He's Leeds. We back him. I'm excited for fresh ideas and a new take on things. That's what I'm saying. It's I was thinking earlier, right? Like one of the key things that I noticed during a lot of the videos, he was very close to his players, very, very close to his players. He spoke about him being a father and how he looks on them as children. And I'm not for one second here questioning Bielsa's methods, but the form and situation the players find themselves in now after 3.5 tough years, some of them, Click, Ayling, the OGs, if you like, who are maybe battered and bruised, mentally fatigued and all this sort of thing, that a Jesse Marsch coming in who seems a little bit more friendly, approachable, even, fun, if you like. I know these are professional footballers. They've worked on Bielsa. It worked. For whatever reason, it stopped working. It did stop working. And, him coming in with that hand around, the shoulder kind of vibe, it could really, really boost them, because we're hearing reports, hearing little snippets here and there that it became a little bit fracas towards the end. And because the players weren't getting the results on the pitch, subconsciously and maybe even consciously, had this out with Bielsa, it's not working. It's not working. I'm beasting myself. I'm running myself into the ground, and it's not translating to results on the pitch. So a new guy coming in, and as I've said, from what I've seen of all the videos, there's one that's on for about 40 minutes, which is a look, and it goes really behind the scenes with his coaching staff and when he's talking to his players. He just seems very, very approachable, friendly, that kind of vibe. And maybe they need that right now. Because they know, we've seen with interviews with Calvin and that Bielsa was very away from the players. Very rarely brought down his guard. I just think that's how he is as a person. We see that in the videos, people saying goodbye. I spoke to someone today who sees him regularly, actually, and said to me, he very, very rarely says anything at all. Do you know what I mean? So I think Jesse Marsch going in there, that'll have a positive impact straight off the bat. You would imagine, because I always remember Calvin saying, like on interviews with England and all that sort of stuff, that he didn't really have that, as much as he respected him, it wasn't, as say friendly as some might be, like a Klopp, for example. But that's fine, because it's worked like that. I'm not questioning it now. I'm not going to stand here now and go, oh, Bielsa, everything was always wrong. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying it's come to a point where it's not worked. So now we need something different. And even just them little things like that in and around the training pitch, the dressing room, all that sort of stuff can have massive, massive effects. Wayne says, like the way he talks about Leeds fans and, of course, Bielsa himself, get behind the new boss, folks. I think we all will do that. I think there's a misconception that if you're gutted about Bielsa, that you're suddenly not going to back him. That's not the case. Not the case at all. he's managing our football club and therefore he'll get my backing. You know what I mean? Up until obviously if it's rubbish, then I'll be saying different. You know what I mean? But Ryan says, I'm with you, Joe. It feels strange. Who would have thought we'd be here a week ago? But we have to stick together 100%. We've got 12 games to save our Premier League status, you know what I mean? Because we're certainly in with it now. Won't be a long era if we go down. Can't see him staying if that happens. I don't agree. He's got a 5-year deal. He obviously is aware that there is a big possibility of relegation at the end of the day. He's only got 12 games to get his methods across, you know? So there is a possibility we still may get relegated. So I think he'll be aware. And that's why he signed a 5-year deal. Because the club, if they do get relegated, will be looking to come back first time of asking. You know, we have a lot of players in that squad that could be moved on for decent fees. So I think Jesse Marsch is well aware. We don't want to consider that, but well aware with the fact that they could go down. Otherwise, he doesn't sign a 5-year deal for me. I don't see that. Tashen85 says, evening, Joe. It's the start of a new era. I get the feeling Road Dog, Jesse James Marsch doing zonal and not man marking will be a big bonus for the players. That's something we'll touch on a little bit later on. So big shout out. I just like the name. Come across brilliantly for me in his first interview. I agree. Hannah Lucy, big shout out, sending love as well. I know you've been going through a difficult time of late, so I hope everything's good. So positive for me is the contract 2025. It's always difficult, the not knowing, and 1-year contracts were difficult. I can imagine it was so for the players as well. So for me, that's a positive. Raj says his style of play isn't too different from Bielsa, so thankfully the board have thought this through. Also, we might sign Aronson. Yeah, it looks that way. He's worked with Aronson, obviously, at USA, I believe. Bowen John says, comes across very well, seems a very pleasant chap. Should I feel bad saying I like him? Not at all. I've seen a lot of that on social media. Have to answer not sure to the poll, Joe. You mean, yeah, so there was, is this a good appointment? Yes, no, not sure. You're saying I should have added in a not sure. I understand what you're saying. Let me just check that poll and see what people have said. There's 491 people watching, by the way, and just 100 likes. So if you could smash the likes for me, that would be greatly appreciated. So according to the poll, 79% of you are happy with the appointment, which is great to see. 100%. Like I said, there's a lot of love on social media for him as well, just for the way he came across in his initial interview, which was good. You know what I mean? It was really, really good. And it's an improvement in it. Let's be honest, regardless, we don't know an awful lot about Marsch, but he's well respected, well revered, a young up-and-coming coach, someone who actually works for a tweet's been doing the rounds earlier on from the CV Academy, the hour-long webinar with Jesse Marsch. And someone asked me to retweet it, and we were just having a little chat, and he asked me if I was happy, and I said, yeah, it seems like a good fit. And he said, look, it's a really good appointment, bags of personality and charisma, and produces aggressive attacking football. He thinks he'll fit like a hand like glove. So we just have to hope that it does work. You know what I mean? That it does work. Right, let's have a look. It's a 3-year contract, Joe. Oh, have I got my maths wrong? 2025. Sorry. My bad if I've got my maths wrong. You know what it is. It's been a mad few days. Cut me some slack, peeps. It's been a mad few days. Matty Ducker, big shout out, you good looking man. He says, easy bro, hope you're well. I think it's going to be interesting to see his first lineup at the weekend. Praying he mixes it up. So I've put my lineup up here. The 4-2-2-2, which is a bit of a mouthpiece. Me and Gaz from Talking Shut were speaking about it earlier, and every time we tried to speak, it was like 4-2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2. So I've got a lineup what I believe it will be. I want to know yours. Let's not do it yet though, because we're going to speak about that towards the end of the video. So just keep it on ice there. But big shout out Matty D. There you go. Thank you for your super chat. Giancarlo, ever the optimist. He's wanted Bielsa gone for weeks, and now says it's not a great CV, but from the analysis we've seen so far, looks like it could be promising. It was either him or Big Sam. It was never Big Sam. It was always Jesse Marsch. They've been sounding this guy out for a while. I don't know what reports. I've seen some, crazy posts about Sam Allardyce. That was never going to happen. Never gonna happen. Loads of Desmond Tutus, yeah. 4 Desmond Tutu. Yeah. So look, he liked to go. Oh, you were joking. I never know you, Giancarlo, anymore, mate. After you went on a mad one about my guy Bielsa, you know what I mean? But yeah, he prefers the 4-2-2-2, which is like Ralph Rangnick. I've been hammering Ralph Rangnick on my Premier League reviews and previews just because he's the Manchester United manager. But it's something that's been built in the Red Bull, conglomerate. Is that the right word? Conglomerate, Red Bull thing, the 4-2-2-2. As I said, there's been a lot of great coaches that have come through there and applying the trade across Europe. And I think it was Rangnick that actually took Jesse Marsch under his wing. And that's when, he sort of took on the 4-2-2-2-2. But the difference is, and this is what I'm saying, like for me, Leeds United have a squad that are already well versed in what's expected of them on the playing field under Jesse Marsch due to what they've been doing under Bielsa. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when Rangnick's coming at Manchester United, he's got players like Ronaldo, for example, who couldn't, press a pair of jeans or whatever. Press, iron, press, yeah. It worked in my mind as I said it. Press a button. I couldn't. Yeah. So they've got like Ronaldo who couldn't press a button, for example. It doesn't really work there. Whereas at Leeds United, we already have a squad that are well versed in what's going to be required of them. So I think that's why it's going to work. A lot of people will say you're going for a very similar approach to Bielsa, so why aren't you just stuck with Bielsa? Again, we'll have to wait and see whether or not it was the right decision. Just coming in as well, Chris Kelly said, look, he's got 2 league and cup doubles at Salzburg, managed and held his own in the Champions League, still young and up and coming. This is exciting, Joe lad. Bring it on. There you go. I think that was in response to some saying CV, etc. But yeah, you've got to start somewhere anyway. So let's get back to it. So yeah, 4-2-2. Now this will, and again, big shout out John at All Stats, aren't we? This will come in many different forms, right? So it's basically like a 4-4-2, but very, very narrow. Okay. And it allows for, and the reason it's so narrow, it allows for a lot of bodies in central areas. Yeah. So to allow for a press. Okay, for a counter press. So what we are going to see, the one switch we're going to see from Bielsa's methods, it's going to very much be direct and through the middle, yeah, as opposed to out wide. Because when I'm watching it as well, it made me think a little bit because the video that I seen had Emil Forsberg and Christopher Nkunku. Now, for me, they're very much like cams, yeah, like centre attacking midfielders, 10s, but they were sort of playing the wide role, but they were very much in a central space, which made me think, well, how's that going to work at Leeds United? Who's going to occupy them 2 spots behind the strikers? Because our wingers are wingers. Do you know what I mean? Like, Dan James is a winger. He's an out-and-out winger. Rafinha is a winger. Jack Harrison maybe he's better placed in that area. So yeah, someone's just said there, does that mean no wingers? Well, from what we've seen, he plays very, very, very narrow. And the reason that he plays so narrow is that it enables a counter press. So if you push everyone into a central area, when the ball's turned over, we go in and counter. You've got everyone, like, honestly, some of the videos I've seen, you're talking at times the size of the centre circle, the full 11 players inside. Do you know what I mean? The only real wide players you'll see are the fullbacks. Do you know what I mean? The only real wide players you'll see are the fullbacks. So 4-2-2-2 can, look like a 4-4-2, 4-4-2 diamond. With a 10 in behind the 2 strikers, which I believe is how Brendan Aronson's been playing under this sort of setup. And then, as I say, can also look like a 4-2-3-1 and a 3-4-3. So, yeah, very much a system-orientated manager. High intensity, high pressing, recovering the ball, and fast attacks when it's been recovered. Always aggressive. I think one of the key things he said from one of the videos that I watched was it's always better to be the aggressor rather than be passive. So for him, full front, on the press, let's go. I think the ideal time for when they turn that ball over in a counter press is to try and score within 10 seconds. Like he's earmarked as saying that he tries to score within 10 seconds. So know that when we win that ball up high, that we're going to be very, very direct. When we win the ball, it's not a case of retaining possession, moving it from left to right. It's very much, let's go, full throttle. You may find out that it'll go out to one of the fullbacks, either a Firpo or an Ayling. They'll try bend that ball straight in. And then if it's headed back out, we're on them again. Counter press, move, 10 seconds, let's go, in on goal. Do you know what I mean? That's very much the plan. As I say, high intensity, high pressing, recovering the ball up high, and fast attacks when we've recovered it. Ideally scoring within 10 seconds. That's the ideal time, No more man-to-man. A much more measured approach in that respect. A more reliance on a zonal system. But due to the way we play, we will still see a high line. We are still going to be susceptible to players in behind. We're going to be fragile in wide areas just to the way that it is set up. Chris, good point. Chris says you might even see a Harrison or a Dan James converted into wing backs. It's going to be interesting. I genuinely I'm trying to think in my mind this 4-2-2-2 and just seeing it work at Leipzig, who they're not even wingers, they're like 10s for me. But there'll be people that'll be watching this and know much more about the game than me and be like, no, this is how it'll work. This is how it'll work. But from what I've seen, I'm like, okay. So for me, I think Rodrigo could really flourish in this system, because we're working in such tight areas. He has that technical ability, drop of the shoulder, little 1-2s here and there in such small areas. I look at other players like Dallas, that technical ability-wise aren't up to, some of the players within the squad, and maybe he struggles in this system. You don't know. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see how it transpires, to really see how it transpires. For all we know, guys, Roberts could flourish in this system. Do you see what I'm saying? Roberts could flourish in this system. It will be interesting to see, Like I say, his play style is direct. It's through the middle. The only real width we're going to see is from the fullbacks. And when it does go out there, a lot of it is just bam, straight into that central space so that we can set that counter press. As I say, there's special focus through the middle. So counter press can be initiated if we lose the ball, and we're going to try and score within 10 seconds. All the formations that he has, very narrow. So like I say, for our wingers, for James, for Rafinha, for Harrison, what's that going to mean? How is that going to look? Holy Ghost Super Chat says, has Bielsa just been replaced for Jeremy Kyle? He does have a look at Jesse Kyle, actually. You make a good point. Yeah. So will we get who in your opinion, guys, are we going to see get the best out of in this system? You know what I mean? Could Rodrigo flourish? Could it be a Lewis Bate, for example? Lewis Bate alongside Calvin Phillips. Maybe he throws them straight in. Do you know what I mean? And those saying, look, please tell me you didn't say that. You never know, though. This is what I'm saying. You just never know who's going to flourish. Do you know what I mean? 13 likes off 250, and there's over 600 people watching. So please do smash a like on the stream for me, please. Yeah. And what I noticed as well, what I did like, it felt to me at times that during his tenure at certain clubs, there was a tailored approach. I felt like from what I was watching against these different opponents, like Chelsea, example, in pre-season, Liverpool, all these different things, he tailored his approach depending on the opponent. Do you know what I mean? So that's going to be interesting because I feel that sometimes Bielsa, it was very much my way, highway. This is how we're going to go. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Chris saying Phillips will flourish with Bate in a double pivot. Yeah. You know, Joffrey could flourish. It'll be interesting to see how he goes about it. Billzo plays, says new chant. Jesse, the only Yank, the only Yank we like. Jesse, the only Yank we like. To be honest, mate, I don't think that's gonna kick off. If I'm honest, I don't think that's gonna kick off. But we'll, yeah, you can give it a try. Give it a try next time you're out there. Ewan Force says Somerville will shine under Jesse. I'm not sure because I genuinely look at the wingers and see them as a little bit redundant in this system. I don't know. Econ says don't want to jump the gun, but excited for new ideas. And this is the thing, isn't it? Like the players I think the players will be the same. You know, we all love Bielsa. I didn't want him to go. I think he deserved, but you know, I think even Bielsa's been on record as saying it gets to a point where his methods stop working, and I think maybe that had happened. You know, there was little rumblings I've heard of unrest. Again, I'm not ITK, but I can only go on what people have told me, just what they'd heard on the grapevine and stuff. And obviously, Rafinha was dropped as well for the Manchester United game. Was there something more to that? Who knows? Maybe. So yeah, you know, and maybe they need a new voice, a new face, you know. And we've got 12 games. We've got 12 games to turn it around now, you know. We've got 12 games to turn it around. Someone's just said there on SofaScore, I saw he played 4-2-3-1. Sometimes if he did, that was suit us with the wingers. Yeah. So yeah, from the video that I've seen, 4-4-2 or the 4-2-2-2 basically can translate as a 4-4-2 with, you know, let's just have a look with, we've got 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3 or a 4-4-2 diamond, depending obviously on the opponent and how it'll, you know, switch around in game. But yeah, the main thing is very much a narrow approach though. Even I'm assuming with the 4-2-3-1, and I didn't see a lot of, you know, that specific formation. I don't know if he does it an awful lot. Maybe he does sometimes. If you've done that research, you probably know more than me, brother. But from the clips that I seen, it was very, very, very narrow. Because I feel the reason or how it was explained that he doesn't want it to be in wide areas is because basically you're funneling the opponent into an area where you have, it's like a ball orientated press. So we're funneling the ball into a specific area and basically you overcrowd them in a sense. Do you know what I mean? We're all going to move to this same space so that when that ball's, you know, we nick that ball, we press, we can go, you know. It was quite interesting that every time it went out to the fullbacks, they were just putting balls in. It was headed out and then bam, on them, you know. So I think, but then also, this is the thing, is that because it was all so narrow and all very central, that if you do lose it, you are really susceptible to balls in behind, you know, balls in behind, or it getting switched, you know, from right to left or left to right. You know, we've seen that ourselves even under Bielsa, like we can be susceptible to that. Now, of course, it's not as kamikaze, you could say, as the man marking system, but we're still going to be fragile in wide areas and in behind, you know, due to this high line. We've had a super chat come in from White Peacock Andy. He says he seems to talk the talk. Let's see if we can walk the walk. Best wishes to Jesse, marching on together. Let's all get behind him. Thank you very much, Andy, for your super chat and always supporting the channel, brother. Corey Crawford says Jesse tattoo inbound. No, it takes a lot. Like, listen, I'm not just in the business of getting tats on the fly. Bielsa was different. The man made me cry, for feck's sake. Here we go. American. Hello from an American. Marsch was coach of the year, and he cited the best points total his first season in MLS. Did exceptional at Salzburg after, yeah. And then he went, obviously, to Leipzig, and it didn't quite work out for him at Leipzig. But let's not say that that's him done just because in his most recent job. Liam Horsley, another friend, and knows his shizzle, says, don't be shocked if he tries to convert Rafinha into one of the two strikers. That's the thing, isn't it? I'm quite interested to see how it's going to look, bro. And I even think, even if, Rafinha is deployed behind the strikers in that two that are very narrow, how that will work out. How will James or a Harrison or a Rafinha deal with that, because they're not out wide as such. Or maybe Jesse will, just change it, but I can't see that, you know what I mean? He's coming with his own ideas. This is what we're going to do. He's got, what are we on now, a week, really, to get us ready for Leicester. And hopefully we see a performance, because we know Leicester. I think they play Burnley tomorrow, is it? I think they play Burnley tomorrow. They've not won this year. So, you just know as well, like, under the form that we're in, we'd have probably lost that game against them on the weekend. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, okay, let's have a look at it and see. And, if he does go with his 4-2-2-2, and if it changes in game, different, formations, but who would you pick? Let me know. I think the back four, will be Meslier, Ayling, Llorente, Strauch, Firpo. If I'm being honest, I'd like to see a new right back come in. Someone said in the comments earlier, is there a case for recalling Cody Drameh? You just never know. Could that be an option? I think you can only call him outside of in the transfer window, though. Who will be, the double pivot? Will it be Koch and Forshaw? Or will he just say, no, Koch, you're a centre-back now? Pascal? We just don't know, do we? This is another thing to consider as well when I was writing it, and when I was putting it. What about Jamie Shack? Will Jamie Shack now be deployed as a midfielder? Will he look at Jamie Shackleton and say, do you know what? No, you're a midfielder. Will Lewis Bate get more game time? Will Creswell? There's loads of different permutations now. Will Gelhardt start? Especially if you're playing with two strikers. Will Rodrigo play there? He's not going to be playing him in the 10, is he? It's all these different permutations. It's going to be quite interesting to see how he lines them up. I mean, I think he'll want to keep a little bit of continuity. I don't think he'll change the wheel. I think one of the things that I've seen before is drip feeding these little changes, and then when they get hold of that, it goes again with another, expands on it. It's not a case of ripping the rule book up, if you like. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think the back four, Ayling, Llorente, Strauch, Firpo, Dallas could drop out. This is what I'm saying. These players that work so well under Bielsa, under a new, different coach. Because let's be honest, I love a lot of these players, but they're punching above their weight. Do you know what I mean? In terms of where they're at, I think some of them would have, and they'll be honest. I know Luke said before, I probably never would have got to a Premier League without Marcelo Bielsa. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see, how they'll how the players will adapt, how they'll develop. Harmony, I believed you, Joy. I thought you cared. I actually dreamt about the Tour Muros. You were in that field looking for me. Harmony, man, that's lovely. That's where I lost my train of thought there. I was reading that. Joe just heard Kleenex are sponsors of the show. I know, yeah. I put it out on Twitter, man. I'm getting beef on Twitter. I just go mute. I can't even hear the conversation. Yeah. Harmony, what's up? Are you upset with me? I think Harmony's upset with me, Let's have a look and get some more. Yeah, comments. Click as well. That's a good shout, brother. Click. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. We know he works, in them tight areas. Hannah says your videos have helped me a lot, Joe, lately. And great work as always. Let's just look forward to the new era. Bielsa laid the foundation. Be forever thankful for that. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? He's changed the ethos of the club from the bottom up. From the bottom up. You know what I mean? From the bottom up. And Marsch, I think, what did he say? He's going to take the torch and run with it. You know what I mean? He's going to take the torch and run with it and take us to that next level. I think Victor Orta has said, like, the next level being European football. That's what they want. That's what they want. So let's hope that Jesse Marsch can do that. But let me know your lineups. If we go for the 4-2-2-2-2. I think Aylin, Llorente, Strauch, Firpo. Does he go with Dallas and Forshaw? Rafinha and Harrison in behind the front two of Rodrigo and Gelhardt. Alfie misses his back, mate. Misses his back. She's back. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes. Keevan Taylor says, "Are we staying in the league, Joe?" That's the big question, isn't it? I don't know. If Bielsa was still here, you know me, I'd have been saying, yeah, we stay. We stay. He'll turn this around. He'll get this right. But with Jesse Marsch, I don't know, because I've not seen it. We can all get excited, think about new ideas, things that are going to change. The players will be feeling the same. Maybe a new lease of life, new manager bounce. But until we see it in the flesh, we just won't know, So come Saturday, when we play Leicester, then we'll know more. Do you know what I mean? I know it's only a short turnaround. 12:30 on Saturday, we play Leicester. Let's see what we're about. You know what I mean? Let's see what we're about. And then we can go from there, because then after that we've got Norwich, right? So even if this is the thing as well, even if it goes tits up against Leicester, which is just in 4 days' time, there's not a lot of time for Jesse to get his ideas over. But if it is just, if we do lose there, he's still got longer to then prepare for, 2 home games, against Villa, against Norwich, and then they're a very winnable, a very winnable. Darren G says, stop saying, I noticed, mate. I've noticed. I watched something back the other day and I kept saying it. But do you know what it's a habit of? Is when I'm thinking of the next thing to say, I can't deal with just sat there. So I have to fill it with, But I'm well aware, Darren. So I will try, all right? I will try and stop saying it because I'm well aware of it, bro. I seen it the other day and I was like, wow, you say that a lot. Or I say, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's the Geordian, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, look, we've got to be buoyed now. We can't, we've got to be buoyed, haven't we? I was saying yesterday, defiant. I'm wearing my, Newell's top. I'm singing Bielsa's name and all that sort of stuff. But Bielsa wouldn't want that. Bielsa wouldn't want that. He'd want us to, what was it, that saying, man? Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. It happened. We now move on. We've got Jesse Marsch in. Whether you like it, dislike it, whatever it is, you know, we're ready now. We've got a new guy in charge. He's going to get his methods across. And, you know, hopefully we start with a positive result on Saturday. New manager bounce. Fresh ideas, fresh system, you know, fresh formation. Maybe even throw some of the old guard, some of the new guard in, some of the old guard. Really mix it up, and then see where that leads us. You know, see where that leads us. As long as we see a performance, then you know we'll go from there, right? As long as we see a performance, we'll go from there. It's probably a good thing that the transition isn't as mad, you know, as you know, from Bielsa to a Big Sam, for example. You know, and I think it helped that he came across well in his interview. I think he'll continue to do that. Yeah, we'll be all right. Marching on together. I've seen that. Everyone's been saying that. It's been brutal, hasn't it? It's been brutal. Yeah. But naturally, people are upset. But I even think just seeing Marsch's interview has already started to melt the ice caps a little, if that makes sense, you know? Melt the ice caps a little, just to say, you know, there you go. Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on. Thank you as always for watching my channel. It's a pleasure to be able to do this. I'm really, really appreciative that I'm in this position to do this. Thank you as always for watching. Yeah, share the love. Got to support Jesse Marsch now, haven't we? Got to support Jesse Marsch, and hopefully we'll get a positive result on Saturday. But yeah, stay classy. Stay classy, San Diego. Let's hope we get a PK at the weekend, right from our sideline, and it's a touchdown for Leeds United. You know what I mean? Hey. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to shut up talking now. All Leeds Yanks are we. That's us. Yeah. Thanks as always for watching. Peace out. I love you all.